All right, so in this continuation of construction 1, which was the construction of a segment, copying the length of a segment into another segment, we're going to add 2 segments, we're going to subtract segments, and then we're going to bisect this segment down here. So first of all, we're going to add 2 segments, and it's always good to start off with a line, and we're going to put a point on the line where we'll start the answer to adding the 2 segments. And so I'm going to take this first segment, and let's say it has a length of A. We're not going to measure it, obviously, but we're going to take the segment with length A, and we're going to really define those endpoints, put the trimen over one endpoint, set the radius, check to make sure that you have that perfect length. It's been tightened up, and then come down here and put, starting at this same endpoint here, and we'll call this point A. Put your center on A and mark off the length A, lowercase a. So this is the length A. All right. Now for the second, we're going to take this, the length of the second segment, and again, carefully placing the center on one endpoint and adjusting the radius to the other endpoint, tightening your trimen, checking to see that you made a good arc, and I didn't make any arcs, so I'm going to go back and do that again. And there it is, right in the right place. Now I'm going to bring that measurement down here. We're going to say that length is length B. I don't know how long it is, but we're going to say it's B. All right, and again, carefully placing the center where the first segment ended, we're going to put the second one. This is length B. So now we can say that segment, let's call this point B, segment AB, the length of segment AB is equal to the whatever length A is plus whatever length B is. And so now we have a segment AB, and if you wanted to, you could just make a clean one here again, and we could say start at A, go to B, measure it, make sure you get it in the right place, and then come over here, mark it off here, and this, the length of this segment is A plus B. So how would you subtract segments? Well, we're going to take our largest segment B, because that's easier. We'll start with that. I always like to start with the larger one. And we're going to copy that down here. Okay, again, I always check to make sure I've got it in a good spot. And so now I'm going to take and put a line here. Mark my beginning point, I can call it X. And I am going to mark off a segment of length B. But since I'm not going to add A to that, I want to subtract A from it. So what I do is I come up here, I mark off, I set my radius at A for the length of A. And I come back here and I start at the end point and I come back that distance. Okay, that's one way to do it. I mean, there's a couple ways to do it. Okay, so this whole piece is length B, but now this is just from here to here is length A. And so what you can see is what I have left here, this piece, is B minus A. So I'm just going to come over here and copy that. Set my trimen. I'm going to come over here and draw a line. Point. And I'm going to mark that off. And I know that this, because I copied it from up here, this length is B minus A. Okay. Finally, to bisect a segment, and this segment has 2 endpoints. We're going to call this segment P R. Points P and R are the endpoints. And I'm going to create what I call the petal construction, and it's important when you do this, get a sense of where the middle of this is, and make sure that your radius is bigger than, goes beyond the middle, okay? And then tighten up the trim, and it doesn't have to be anything magic, just bigger than the middle, not too big, because you'll see what happens if it's too big. What I want you to do is I just want you to go totally, make a nice big arc. Come over here on the other side, put your center on R, do the same thing, make a nice big arc, okay, and make sure that the two arcs intersect. So you can see my arcs didn't have to be that big. So if you take that point of intersection on the top and the bottom, I call this the petal construction just because it looks like a flower petal to me. And you connect those two endpoints. You don't have to draw a line segment. All you do is just line these two up and then put a dot here where they are. And you know that this point right here is the middle. It's the midpoint of segment PR. So that now you can say that PM is equal to MR. That's the length of the segment. Or you can say that PM, segment PM, is congruent to segment MR. All right, and that finishes up that part of construction.